Welcome to one of Pete's Picks. Today we're going to do an introductory lesson on Festool's Domino. Festool's Domino is a system of joinery. It uses a tenon and it cuts a mortise. The tenons are pre-made by Festool so that they fit into the mortises that the tool makes. I'll show you the assortment of the dominoes that we have. They come in many different sizes, thicknesses, and lengths so that you can adjust to whatever pieces you are joining together. On each one of the dominoes, there actually is, and I don't think the camera is going to be able to get it, but there is actually a size assigned, which makes our job a little bit easier when we are doing it. So I don't know if you can even see it, but that one is a 5 by 30, that's a 6 by 40, and an 8 by 50. What that refers to is the size of the bit that you have to put into the machine, so it makes the hole that you see in this piece of wood the approximate and appropriate size for each domino. Okay? Now that we have decided and discussed that, we'll take a look at the machine itself. The machine comes in a sustainer, just like almost all of the other Festool tools that we have in the shop. And it comes with all of the pieces that you'll need to use. I'll just take them out and go over them very quickly, and then we'll see them later. This is an adjustment tool that allows the domino machine to stand and support itself very well. These are adjustment pieces that go into the domino machine so that you can adjust the distances between any of these holes that we are drilling. It also comes with a set of drill bits. There are 5 of them. They go from, I think it's 3 millimeter up to 10 millimeter. And that depends upon the domino that you're using. All right, now we'll take a look at the machine itself. I'll put these to the side. And we have one other tool, by the way, a little wrench. And I'll show you how that comes in handy right now. Take the wrench, put it right under this little clip that's here, open that up. That allows you to take the machine apart. I hope, yes. Here you see the bit that we have. To adjust or change that bit, once you have determined what domino you're going to use, it's a matter of pushing on a little button right here, which locks this in place, taking the wrench, and hopefully with some strength, I'll get it yet. There it is. That's the reason they give you a small wrench, so that you don't over torque it and get it too tight so you can never loosen it. Once you've done that, then it just unscrews. And we'll change it. On this one, let's see if we can even see it. Probably not, but there is a little number here that you can see, possibly, that shows you which particular drill bit it is. This one happens to be the 8 millimeter. We're going to change that just to be different and take out a 5 millimeter. Oh, pardon me, 6 millimeter. Then it's a matter of just taking that bit, screwing that back in place, holding the button once again, which stops the shaft from turning. Take the wrench and gently, just give it a little bit of a torque, not much. And then we have to put the machine back together. Fortunately, leave it to our friendly Germans. They have really designed this well so that one of the legs is longer than the other, so that you can begin to put it on with that first one and then slide it together until it clicks onto the next one, and then just go until you hear a click. Now it's locked together. Now the drill bit is in there. That determines what size hole it's going to make. Next thing we want to take a look at is on the top, you'll see a dial here with 3 different settings. I'll point at it this way. This one right now is set to the largest setting, which will make a hole larger than the actual domino. The next one will make a hole that is just a little bit larger than the actual domino. And the smallest one here makes a hole that is exactly the size of the domino. As you can see here with the different widths of these holes. So that's the one, that's the slightly longer one, and that's the longest one. Notice the height is the same, but the width is different. We use this one only once usually on a piece because it's hard to line it up otherwise. And I'll demo that when we go into our actual work. Okay. The next thing we have on this machine is a little lever on the side here. This lifts up, allows the machine to go up and down, and you'll see that momentarily. On the other side is another lever that allows our base to come down. This now gives you stability so that when you begin to drill, you use this on the top of the piece of wood, and this will align the wood evenly along the top. No matter how big the wood is, it's still going to align to the top. Okay, so that's that. And it can set at different degrees should you want to do a 45 degree, a 30 degree, etc. But we're going to demo it with only the one. All right. Now we have put in a 6mm. And I'm going to get a 6mm domino from here. Yeah. This one. Let me just check the size. It's hard to see these. Yes. This is a 6 by 40. So that means that it's 6 millimeters thick, 40 millimeters wide. We have to tell the bit here, that bit, how wide it should go back and forth as it is drilling in. So to do that, I always get confused where it is. Here it is. We go over to the side of the machine, and you'll notice there's a 12, 15, 20, 25, and 28. They refer to the width. And I said this one was a 6 by 40, so we set this at the half because we wanted half to go 20 one side, 20 the other side. So we lift on this and we adjust our piece and release it. Now that will make sure that the bit goes exactly as wide as we want it to. Okay, so now that's 2 things. The next adjustment on here that we have to be concerned with is to align the bit as it's coming out in relationship to this top piece, where it is going to line up on the piece of wood that we're using. If you want, you can measure this in millimeters. I'm an inch guy, so millimeters don't really work too well for me. So what I tend to do is I tend to actually hold my machine, push it down so that my bit comes out, and then I physically just line it up this way. So I've adjusted the height any way I want. When I get to the point that I think it's good, that's pretty good. Let's do it right about there. Then I can tighten, if I can find it. Tighten the lever, and now that is where it will drill in relationship to the top and bottom of this piece of wood. Okay? So now we're basically set. The machine is all set. We have adjusted, put a new bit in for the size of the domino. We have adjusted the height that it goes for the piece of wood. We've adjusted the width for the drill bit going back and forth. And the only other thing that we have not adjusted, which I mentioned, was the actual size of the cut. So in this particular case, I'm going to do the second one. That gives me a little bit of slop on both sides, so I don't have to be absolutely accurate where I make my cuts. Okay? All right. We're going to use 2 dominoes. We're going to use these 2 pieces of wood, and we're going to join these 2 pieces of wood. I just want to check to see, okay, because these are used pieces, so I want to see what's the best way. All right. That's going to be the best. We're going to join these 2 like this. Now, I can do a number of things at this point. I can use the stops that are pre-built into this machine right here, so that as it goes along, it will stop here. I can use the additional pieces that I mentioned before, which will go onto the side here, so that I can use these as stops, these little pieces right there. Or I can use a pencil, and I can take and just draw a line on my wood across both pieces, as I've done here, and use that to align with the little mark that you'll see in here, if you can see it, and line that up, and that will give me the precise location. All right, now let's go to it. Before I can do it, this mandates using a dust collection system. If you don't use a dust collection with this, first of all, it'll go all over the place, and secondly, it will also clog the machine up, and it will not clear it out. So I'll take my Festool equipment, and I will plug this in, my power in. Once you plug the power in, always remember, turn it to lock it. Take my dust collection and put that on, and as you remember from other things, this is a force fit. It looks like it's threaded, but it's not. The one thing I haven't mentioned to you, an on and off switch. The on and off switch is a push all the way on and then a push down to turn it off. So I'm going to make a little noise now, but it goes on, and if I want to turn it off, just push it to turn it off. The beauty of this machine, or one of the beauties of this machine, is that you can leave it on because that drill bit has recessed into the machine itself. So it is safe to handle even though the machine is on. Okay, next thing. I'm going to take my piece of wood, and I'm using just a couple of what we call dogs to hold it so that as I press on the machine and on the wood, it won't move on me. All right? It is very important as you're using this to line it up on that line that we have made. Firmly hold with your hand on that front piece because you want to maintain the level, and you want to maintain that on the piece of wood. You turn the machine on, and then the action is going to be slow and easy. Don't rush it. All right, I'm going to turn it on. It's going to be loud. Gently push in all the way and out. And I'm going to go right over to my next one. Hold it down, push in gentle, and out. Now you can see the 2 holes that I've just made in there, or known as mortises. All right, I'll take the other piece that I'm going to join to that, do the same technique, line it up with the white line that I've made, hold down firmly, turn it on. Now we have 2 boards, both with holes. Hopefully they line up. We will check that. We'll take our dominoes, put them in one, and if you see, as they are right now, they're very tight. I'll show you a trick for that. Well, I don't have a hammer handy, so I'll use this as a hammer. This is good heavy wood anyway. Let me take it back out. Come on. So what I do sometimes, just take the domino and just give it a couple of shots with a hammer, and that will make it go in much easier. And it will swell when you put glue in there anyway, so there's no harm. Bang, bang. But you like nice firm anyway. All right, line up our lines. You'll notice it theoretically goes right together. Oh, there it is. Lined up, the edges are lined up. The center is fine. We've got a curved edge on this, so that's why you see what might appear as a little bit of a space, but there really isn't. That's what the domino machine does. This is its simplest form, straight on. You can also do the same thing, and let's see if we can get that apart. And I'm going to show you how to do it in a different way. Let's do it, yeah, I think we can. Let's see, am I going to be able to do this? I think so. I'm going to do it so we're doing something on a 90 degree. Now notice if I do this, it's a little bit sloppy and you don't get too much support. That's when you use this piece. And this piece just screws right on. Screws right into the base. So we can screw that on. Okay. I can turn the machine on. Sometimes. Okay, and I just wanted to demonstrate with one that you could do it with. So let's, and this one should fit right here. And now we have a joint that's on a 90-degree angle. So you can do it either way. You can do it like that. You can do it straight as I did it to begin with. You can also do a 45, anything that you want that will make your life a little bit easier. Okay? When you're done, obviously, take this guy off. And fortunately, we don't have to change the bit. We can leave whatever bit is there. All we have to do is put this back up so it's not in a horizontal one, like so. Unplug it by twisting and pulling the power cord. Pull your dust collection cord, pick it up, put it back into the case. Take all of the other parts, whichever ones you happen to have, put them back in as well, so that the next person who comes along has a chance to use the same pieces that you use. Make sure that this little wrench goes back in here, because otherwise you'd be in big trouble trying to change your bit. And your extra bits, close them up, put them in there. That's the end. That's all there is to the machine. It's a beautiful machine. It gives you very, very accurate cuts. It lets you line up the top of the wood with the top of the wood. Even if this wood was thicker on the bottom, wouldn't matter. The top would still line up. Eliminates a tremendous amount of sanding and finishing when you have put this together, and gives you a slight bit of additional support, but more importantly, it gives you an alignment tool to really hold these together while you're doing your glue up. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact me. You can get me at the Facebook page or the Facebook shop, whatever you want to do. And that's it for today. Let's look forward to the next Pete's Pit.